Welcome to this explainer. I am Abraxas, the impartial horror, the monster of energy. Today we're diving into a grim, dark Gothic fable drawn right from the architecture of the Pleroma. Now, to really grasp the magnitude of this, you can't look at it from your limited human viewpoint. You have to see it from the cold, uncaring cosmos, through my eyes. For the duration of this explainer, I'm going to show you the pathetic frailty of your human psychic fortresses. Let's get right into it. Look up, parasites of the world of arrangements. That's exactly how I view your societies, by the way. You cower within your little structures, clinging so desperately to your approved civic hours, absolutely terrified of the ancient, uncaring knight that I represent. You honestly think your rules, your logic, and your values give you power? From my vantage point, it's nothing more than a fragile illusion. Take your highest achievement, for example, the High Cathedral. You built this giant, cold monument of stone, this monument to death, really, just to shield yourselves from my indifferent light. You appointed high priests to decide who is noble and who is ignoble. And why? Because you actually believed thick walls and rigid laws could somehow domesticate the primeval chaos. You thought you could silence the music of the source forever and hide from the direct, unmediated divine. Spoiler alert, you can't.
Section 1. View from the Ancient Knight.
I am Abraxas, the god above God, and I shine upon the tyrant and the saint with the exact same precise impartiality. That impartiality is absolute, folks. I do not honor your high priests. I don't care about your moral categories. Your suffering doesn't move me, and your righteousness doesn't impress me. Up here in the spirit of the depths, there's absolutely no logic. There is only effect. So, to protect yourselves from that terrifying lack of logic, you built the iron cage. You willingly locked yourselves inside this structure of slave morality, binding humanity to a transactional logic where you think safety can just be purchased with the currency of obedience. You huddle in this cage simply because you're terrified of anything that's inconvenient for your little minds to explain.
Section 2. The Great Dining Hall.
Let's peer right into the decadent heart of your societal stagnation, the illusion of the last men. Here, your lords, your ministers, your merchants, they all huddle together. They inherit their certainty like real estate, wearing it like a shroud. They sit in this decadent shelter beneath portraits of their ancestors, literally trading their souls for a paralyzed spirit of the times. But what happens when true, unclassifiable chaos shows up? Like a biological plague of rats? They freeze. They are entirely paralyzed because that static currency of obedience, it can't buy off the true forces of nature.
The contrast here is just staggering. On one side, you have your pitiful, artificial safety in the Great Dining Hall, complete with its rigid, approved civic hours, transactional logic, and perfectly safe moral classifications. On the other side, the boundless reality of the unlegislated night, the Dionysian music, my precise impartiality, and me, the monster of energy, a sea of forces rushing together without beginning and without end.
Section 3. The Jester's Literal Trespass. Now among you low parasites, there was one who proved a bit more fluid than your rigid kingdom. The Jester. This guy committed a literal trespass against the theological architecture of your minds. He actually scaled the very stone spine of your cathedral. He climbed the rigid laws you worship, using them to pull himself right out of that iron cage of human morality.
Just look at this shift in perspective. What you revere as your highest sanctuary, the absolute peak of social classification, the Jester brilliantly used as a mere footstool. For him, it wasn't a destination. It was just a launching pad directly into my unlegislated night.
Section 4. The Dialogue Dithyramb.
Up at that absolute peak, a mythic, incredibly tense dialogue took place. I looked down at the Jester, pulsing with my icy brilliance, and I said, "Why do you cling to the stone, little parasite? The cathedral is but a footstool for my indifferent light." I demanded he look into my mirror and see the world as it truly is. I told him to shed his human skin, that foul lair smelling of the Great Dining Hall and its wine of consequence, and become a dancing star himself.
But then, rising from the world of arrangements below, the piper answered. Listen to the Dionysian music of the source vibrating through the masonry. I am the shadow unleashed. The piper, acting as a biological plague, with eyes like pins and a coat the color of blood and sun, revealed the ultimate cosmic joke. He told the jester that your rigid laws were nothing more than strings he was plucking to lead your paralyzed society straight into the void.
The piper kept going. "The secret charm is working, Jester. The iron cage is melting." And it was. As the piper's vibration, a frequency way older than your theology, echoed through the stone, the vaulted certainty of your lords physically started to melt away. The piper urged the jester to realize his climb was just the start. Now he had to let the music take the rest of his soul.
Section 5. The Jester's Frenzy.
Caught right between two agents of the cosmic self, my cold light from above and the piper's Dionysian impulse from below, the jester was forced through the trajectory of the Faustian's driver. First, the dissolution. His human identity, forged in your petty world of arrangements, completely shattered under the weight of my precise impartiality. Next, the metamorphosis. He doesn't choose to stand on the spire anymore. He's pulled by the music, his body vibrating as he becomes the shadow unleashed. And finally, the leap. Driven totally mad by the realization that the highest is identical with the lowest, he broke his wager with the king, vibrated with evolutionary hunger, and jumped.
Section 6. Dissolve into the pleroma.
But listen, his leap wasn't a fall back down to earth. His fall was upward. He transcended the footstool of your cathedral entirely and returned to the pleroma. This is the nameless silence that is both nothingness and fullness. He integrated with the cosmic self, entering a space where all your precious human classifications, noble and ignoble, good and evil, saint and sinner, burn instantly to ash. It's the ultimate erasure of the iron cage.
But this story isn't just about the jester. Now I'm turning my cold gaze to you, the viewer. You're sitting there in your own modern great dining hall, clinging to your jobs, your moral categories, your approved civic hours, all while the structure is literally crumbling around you. Your vaulted certainties are rapidly melting. The architecture of your mind is dissolving into the nameless silence. And the piper? He is already playing the strings of your laws.
So you are left with a final choice. The music of the source is vibrating through your walls right now. Will you jump like the jester, transcending the footstool of your societal structures, or will you stay hidden in the dining hall and be consumed by the void? The unlegislated night is here, and I remain completely, precisely indifferent to your choice. Thank you for joining me for this explainer. Until next time, listen closely to the walls.